amazing. I couldn't be happier with this company.
We absolutely love these cages.
One at a time, okay, guys? Morning, everyone. Welcome to another Coturnix Corners Morning Musings. Joining me today is Bree Patz of Pips and Chicks. Welcome, Bree.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
I have been trying forever to get Bree scheduled to come on here, and she finally found an opening in her schedule, which I really appreciate. So what we're going to do, guys, I got a few announcements that I'm going to go over real quick, and then we'll jump into the chat room. If you guys have any questions for Bree, Bree's got a calendar like you wouldn't believe. I mean, she's working with stuff like the ACBA, the poultry, the online poultry show. Plus, she's a judge in Wisconsin for poultry shows and just all kinds of crazy stuff. So, if you have any questions, type the letter Q in front of your questions. That'll help us make sure that we don't skip over any questions. So first off, shout out to our sponsors, HP Murray over at Gopher Ridge Quail Farm. HP's done a lot for the channel. He donates hatching eggs to give away. Don't forget to visit his auction page over there on Facebook. He does auctions, I think, pretty much daily. But HP took a little bit of a hiatus, took a couple weeks off, and he's back home now and got the farm back up and running. So we are going to be doing the giveaways. Boy, I hate these stupid earbuds. It's like I'm hearing myself echo. But anyhow, we will be doing the giveaways again from here on out. Also, shout out to Hatching Time. Hatching Time gives us a $50 gift certificate to give away to one lucky winner, and that you guys can use to spend over on their website. So much appreciate that. Both of our sponsors. Like I said, we will be doing two giveaways today. It'll be the hatching eggs and the $50 gift certificate. I might have to take these earbuds out. I'm hearing an echo in my ear. It's driving me nuts. One other thing, guys, I know that we haven't done the kids program lately. I was trying to get the CoturnixCorner.com website back up and running, but failed miserably on that. I just can't get the script to connect to the database. So instead of starting over with a whole brand new website, I just decided to ditch that idea. But we're still going to be doing the Coturnix Kids program. If you have entries that you'd like to send in, or your kids would like to send in, they can send them to Terry at CoturnixCorner.com. I did get that email working again, by the way. Basically, what the program is, the kids do a project that helps somebody else out, whether it's helping out their family with chores or helping a neighbor, do some work around the yard, whatever it is. They do a little write-up. They send it in along with some either photos or videos, and our judges will go through those entries, and we will select a winner each month. And the kids get a bunch of prizes from our sponsors. Now, I am going through and working on the sponsorships now, but as soon as I get that straightened out, we'll go ahead and start doing that again. But I think this is what, August. If we have some entries between now and the 1st of September, we will go ahead and start the giveaway program or the kids program in September. Otherwise, we'll have to probably wait until October until we get some. So anyhow, there's the email address, Terry at CoturnixCorner.com. That's where you can submit your entries to. Okay, Bree, give us a rundown. Who's Bree Patz? What do you do for excitement nowadays? And tell us what's going on in your life.
Yeah, oh my. It's been a summer. So I did my year at River Falls. I've got 1 year left there. So I'm on the summer break, and I work as an intern for an agricultural engineering firm here. And they've offered me a job when I graduate. So pretty good chance I'll be coming back to work there. But basically, This summer was a lot of doing barn design, waste storage, feed management, herd management for the really big dairies in Wisconsin. So like here we have a thing called CAFOs. So basically if you're over about 1,000 cattle, about 100,000 birds, I think it's like, I think it's like 10,000 pigs or something in there. You're called a CAFO, and we work pretty much solely with them across the state and do a lot of management work, DNR, NRCS work, so that they can get their paperwork in and keep running. And then like design their stuff so it meets all the standards and everything. So that's been really fun. Learned so much with that. There's a lot of like laws and regulations and things that I would have never known about, never heard about. And I get to do a lot of work, like hands-on work with the farmers, with the farms, and then also with like the state engineers and everyone in between. So that's been a lot of fun.
Very cool.
And then that's been my day job. And then we just finished up the virtual show that was last month. It was a whirlwind. There was like 3,000 birds entered from over 300 people everywhere. It was fantastic. We got some really, really good open judges in. And so to get their feedback on all of the birds and listen to them talk through everything was amazing. And then what else? I launched Poultry Pro. that was also been a big thing lately. So basically it's like a poultry management. So before that I had like 13 different spreadsheets I was using. It was a little bit ridiculous to keep track of everything. And my manager at the research farm that I work with at school at the University of River Falls was like, this is ridiculous. You can program. Why haven't you programmed something to like fix all of this and make it easier? Because we're trying to build their program up there, and they were asking like how to keep track of their birds, what they should be looking for. And so I finally sat down this summer and top down, got it out there, and it's been working. And it has made my life so much easier, and it's been so much fun to work on that, to see what others are doing. We've got quite a few users on it now. So we just hit over 100 people using it last night.
What is that, like an app or something?
Yeah, it's an online app. Yeah. So it's not on the App Store, Play Store. I get a lot of people asking about that. But basically, like, to put it on the Play Store is a completely different programming language. So that probably won't happen for about another year yet or so. But you go on it and you can put in like your flock, your birds. There's really easy things to fill out. Like I log my egg production every day. You can keep track of your incubations, and it'll send you like automated reminders. And then I had it in a spreadsheet, and it was a huge complicated mess, but I sat down with a few professors and we worked out an algorithm. So basically you can do, if you keep track of like your egg production and your feed production, it'll actually do an automated health report. So if you start getting like a really sudden decrease in egg production or your feed goes up, it'll send you like a health reminder, like, hey, go check on your birds. And it gives you a health score of each flock and how like healthy your birds are all around, and like how, from your own normal, not necessarily from like everyone else, based on your own birds, that's been super cool. Like it's caught problems in my cages that I didn't even know existed. And it's been really, really neat to see that grow and get the chance to work with a lot of really, really, really smart people on the project.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. I wish I had the ability to do app scripting, because there's a lot of stuff that I would like to, like do an app for Coturnix Corner, something that would make it easier for people to check in, whatnot. But I don't know. I used to do a lot of PHP scripting back in the day, but getting old, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah. It terrifies me a little bit. Like I'm afraid I'm going to make one. I have, like, there's been times I've made one little change and the whole thing crashes, and it's a little scary.
Yep. You're a judge, right?
Yeah. So a lot.
Tell us a little bit about judging.
Yeah. So that I've been a judge for a year or 2 years now, officially in Wisconsin. So I do a lot of I did a lot of showmanship last year, and this year I've been doing more like actual poultry judging. And then we just kind of started my show string here. So this last year, I took a year-long thing with River Falls. You do 1 year in this class for livestock judging, and then your next year you compete. So there's a team of, right now, I think we're up to 7 of us that'll be going out to a whole bunch of shows. That's like large livestock. Last year with River Falls, I did poultry judging for like collegiate competitions, USDA, and more of like the industry style poultry. Even though my background is in like more of the show style and the exhibition style. So that was a really, really eye-opening experience. And then this summer, I've judged 2 shows so far. I've got another 2 left to go, 2 county fairs. And then gosh, I think we're doing 5 or 6 shows after that. So just about every weekend from now until like middle or so of October, I'll be going to different shows and either judging, showing, or doing different odds and ends at shows, photographing some birds at internationals and things like that.
Oh, nice. Have they ever gotten quail into the shows that you're doing?
Some of them. So Northwoods is working on it. They probably won't have it this year because they're doing pigeons and they're trying to get their pigeons into it, but they'll be doing it next year. Cooley had like the Cooley show earlier this spring. They had quail. We've talked about getting it into Wisconsin Internationals. Wisconsin Internationals is a pretty big, like it is one of the biggest shows in the Midwest. Aside from like Ohio Nationals, like I'm like Northern Midwest, I'm thinking like Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin. And they get a little bit more strict with everything that they do. So working on that probably would be something more next year. And then trying to think of the other ones. Some of the other ones I'm going to are large livestock, so they don't do any poultry at all. But we're slowly getting them into the poultry. And I think this is now year 2, year 2 or year 3 with Cooley doing quail. So we're getting there.
Cool. Well, between the online shows and if you get quail in the the regular shows, hopefully that'll take off.
Yeah, and the online show, the quail, like we had over 300 quail in the online show. That was amazing.
Yeah, I checked into one of the lives. You had a young man that was a judge.
Yeah,
like
Mr. Melodic.
What was he? What was he judging?
He was judging youth quail.
Okay.
And he is like 10 years old. And
Really?
If you haven't watched the live or you haven't like met this kid in person, you'd think like 10 years old, this kid is like levels. He is just insane with how much he knows and is able to talk about and do. Like, he's from Wisconsin, so I've judged him for showmanship. I've judged his birds at fairs. He goes to just about every show, and his family are very big poultry showmen as well. And he and his brothers, and he's I'd say like 2 years ago, so he was about 8. He came up to me and he was like, "So, I've been reading up on the phi gene, and if I cross a fab phi and a pearl phi, I should get this, this, and this, right?" And to have an 8-year-old like come up and say that and just start talking and be dead on with all of his genetics and his breeding questions, it blew my mind. So I was super happy to have him on, and we're hoping to have him back next year for youth quail. And I am so excited to see him keep growing in quail and chickens all together.
Nice. That's cool. That's impressive. All right, let's go ahead and jump over in the chat room and see who all's in here today. We don't have as many people as we normally do, and that's probably because I missed the last 2 weeks live stream, so I don't think people know that I actually went live this week. But we got a few people in there. Again, guys, if you have any questions for Bree or just general questions or comments, go ahead and post them. We're going to go ahead and recognize who all's in the chat room. Reed Carson's in the house joining us today, saying good morning all. Good morning, Reed. Glad you could join us. Don Skin says good morning from South Mississippi. Morning, Don. Brian Edwards is in the house. Says good morning from Central Texas. And Costello Hobby Farms says good morning from North Alabama. Chantel's joining us. Says good morning. Dragon Girl's in the house. Says good morning. Morning, Dragon Girl. Glad you could join us. Kara says good morning, everyone. Bruce says good morning from Northern California where the vineyards meet the redwoods. Nice. Promised Land Homesteads in the house says shalom and good morning. Shalom. I hope I said that right. John Collingsgrove says morning, everyone. Holly George is in the house says good morning. Jessica says good morning from Missouri. Papa's in the house says morning all. Morning, Papa. Hope your birds are doing well. There's my buddy Salvador from Salvador Santiago from Puerto Rico. Good morning. Glad you could join us, Salvador. Homestead Matter says good morning from Eugene, Oregon. Bree, thank you for sharing your knowledge and love of animals. Also, Poultry Pro has been a game changer for flock management. Extra thank you.
Oh, glad you like it.
Hold on. Let's go. Get out. Come on. Crazy dogs. Let's see here. Tater Farms in the house is so excited for this show. Good morning from a balmy central Georgia. You need to be down here, Tater Farm, because it is hot. My air conditioner couldn't keep up yesterday. We had it set, I think, at like 70 degrees, and it could only get to 85 in the house. That's how hot it was. That's how hot it was outside. It couldn't keep up. Yep. Bruce says, welcome back, Bree.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, you guys don't know how hard it was for me to get Bree here. And it's not, she kept saying, yeah, I'm ready, but your schedule just wouldn't open up for me.
Yeah, he's been trying for months, and every time it's like, oh, I'm out of state this week, or I'm going around this week, and it's been crazy, but I'm glad that we find
it's
time.
No problem. Exactly. Dane's in the house this morning, everyone, from Georgia. Glad you could join us there, Dane. Bob Cole's in the house, says good morning. Morning, Bob. Tater Farm says, question, are we allowed to ask questions related to poultry besides quail? Bree's online poultry show taught me so much about standard of perfection and breed confirmation. Thank you so much, Bree. Yeah, you can ask whatever you guys want. It's Sunday. We do whatever you guys want to do. How long did the poultry show go on for? How long did you guys run it? Like a week or 2 or 3? Or?
So we did, entries were open for over a month this year. And then we did different judging throughout July. And then we scheduled judging based on like when the judges were available. Next year, we've got all of the dates set in stone, and judging, it'll be different. I'm a little nervous for it, but all the judging will be in one weekend. So we'll go through.
Really?
There'll be 4 shows, like 4 different rings going on at once. The youth will be on Saturday, and then the open will be on Sunday. I'm a little scared, but I'm also excited for it.
Right. Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bob says, appreciate what you're doing and have enjoyed the insight and information to be a successful quail producer. However, we are moving back to Texas and have our little ranch in New Mexico for sale. I dispatched the remaining 70-ish birds and sold my hutches. So you're getting out of quail altogether, Bob? Or are you just doing that to move? I hope you're not getting out of it. 340 Quail Farm says, good morning from Central Florida, checking in. I hope you guys aren't as hot as we are, Central Florida. It is, like I say, I was telling Bree earlier, our heat index today is 113.
No,
which,
thank you. That sounds
and I was
miserable.
going to put on my bee suit and go mess with bees. I'm like, yeah, they'll wait. Sean Bell Sr. says, good morning, everyone. Morning, Sean. Glad you could join us. John says, my 3 girls have been sad thinking that the kids program might end. You being off the past 2 weeks made it worse for them thinking the show was over as well. They're happier back. Yeah, John, I apologize for that. Tell your girls I'm sorry. I have been working with it, trying to get things. My main concern was by losing Coturnix Corner community, we lost over 6,000 members. And so that was kind of upsetting. I'm trying to figure out how I could take the information that's in the MySQL database and maybe bring it back into a new script or a new program. But I don't know that I can, because if I could figure out what version of the program I was running before, I could download that version and set it up, and it should talk back and forth. But now with the latest versions that they released to this program, the database setups or the table setups are totally different, so it can't pull the information out of the database. So, but we are keeping the program running. As far as me being off the last couple of weeks, I had a couple things going on 2 weeks ago, and then last week, the only chance I had to work some bees at a remote yard, I had to go out and do that. So that's what happened with the live stream. Woodtick is in the house. Good morning, everyone. Morning, Woodtick. Dave Sister, you should get the 10-year-old quail phenom on the show sometime. There you go, Bree.
I don't see any reason why he wouldn't, just depending on maybe, I know he's in school, so
right,
like around his school schedule, but he probably would. He can be a little shy.
That would be cool. Oh, that would be cool, though. He'd probably teach us something.
He's taught me some things over the years.
That's cool. Alice says, good morning from Washington State, where it's way too early to be up. I hear you. Brian says, good morning from South Carolina. Glad you could join us there, Brian. Okay, guys, it's about almost coming up on 9:30. If you guys want to go ahead and put your hashtags in for the $50 gift certificate, go ahead and type in hashtag hatching time, all lowercase, all one word, and we'll do the gift certificate giveaway here shortly. Dennis White's in the house. Good morning from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Glad you can join us there, Dennis. Jessica's question, in what time frame might we see a standard of perfection for quail?
That is a question I actually really can't answer. So I know if you were following, like if you're in the ACBA at all, I was the president for the past 2 years. Leah Koulis is now the president, and then Michael Rose is in charge of the standard of perfection. And I have not done any work on the standard of perfection since. I've kind of taken a step back from a lot of the things that the ACBA is working on. I still work with them quite a bit for like the virtual show, making sure that we're lining up with everything. And they're doing a fun show right now that I've entered birds in and voting in and all of that jazz. But I know when I was in charge of it and I was working on it, we have a draft standard out. So that's on the website and that's there. There's no color standard yet. And that's a really crucial detail that we need to get into the APA. And I think since I've left, a lot of their focus has shifted a little bit more away from APA stuff. There's still like an APA group. I just haven't heard as much what they're doing with the standard. I don't know. I know when I was working on it, my time frame was hopefully within like two or 3 years, we'd have a confirmed standard out and it would no longer be a draft standard. I know Michael Rose very much did not agree with that and he wanted to take it a lot longer. So my guess is it probably won't be out within the next couple of years, but I'm not doing a whole lot of work with that anymore. So I don't know. But we'll keep trying
unless there's shows, there's shows specifically for quail, the standard really doesn't mean much. I mean, it's great for the confirmation side, I think. But the standard is geared towards shows, correct? If you're showing birds.
When I was working with it, we actually we got a lot of the big producers in. So I talked with like William Fujikara from Brazil, who runs like 2.5 million quail a year. Like that's his living and his livelihood. And like Martin Yardley, who did a lot of work in genetics, and then I talked to different poultry professors as well, and more on like the industry side of things on what they want to see for confirmation. But so the first draft, at least like pretty much everything in there that you're going to be culling for, like your defects, your disqualifications, your confirmation, is the same thing the industry would be culling for. So if you're running 500,000 birds, that's the same thing that they're going to be looking and taking out of their flock. There's definitely like extra things on there, like the ideal beak shape, which helps production, but it's not really going to make or break you. And just like shape and stance. But for the most part, it was like, this is what all around a good quail should be, whether you're breeding for show or production. Again, where it's at now, I have no clue.
Right. No, I was thinking more of that when you were talking like the color standards.
Oh, yeah.
That would only mainly apply to showbirds. So.
Yeah, the color standard really is only useful in the show. The reason we need it is because the APA requires a color standard to get into, like, to be in their standard of perfection. And then if you want to show at any poultry show and actually like compete for your bigger awards, your best of show, get points for the APA, kind of like all of the things that come with being a big time poultry shower, you need to be accepted, and they won't accept it without it's a 5-year process as is. When you have a standard in place and you're all ready to go, 2 to 5 years is usually 5 years is on the low side. And without the color standard, you can't even start the process. So.
Okay. Cool. Tater Farm says, question, I have 55 flowery hens in that they aren't recognized and don't have a standard of perfection. Do I cull to the standards of their parentage to improve my flock?
So I was actually talking with someone about this, about Landrace breeds in general the other day, because they wanted to start their own breed, and they were asking how many things it takes to, like how many generations and what qualifies it as their own breed and as a Landrace, which means they don't have a written defined standard. And 55 flowery hens are a Landrace breed, meaning they don't have an official standard, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's still a lot of traits that you want to breed for. So 55 flowery hens are known for being very high egg producers. They're known for their bright colors. Usually they've got like modeling genes in there, spangling, so that they've got like their, they kind of look like speckled Sussex a little bit, but a little bit more of a leghorn type and production oriented. So I would say, because of the Landrace, you want to breed for you want to keep your basic breed characteristics. You want to keep your same type. If you've got a good color variety going on in there, you're going to keep that color variety going. You just don't need to be as picky about it. As on type, you're going to focus more on like your traits. So your high egg production, you're going to focus on things like your temperament. I know that can be a really big deal in a lot of the Landrace breeds. And just kind of keeping, so like the way I do it, and the way I tell other people and really highly advise it, pick the traits that you want to keep, especially whether you have a standard or otherwise. Pick like what you want to breed for, write it out, and then write out everything in a hard metric. So if you want to breed for temperament, put a scale to it, 1 to 5, and then start keeping track of that in a number form. And so you can see your improvement over time. And I think once you put a number to it, once you put a scale and you start tracking things, it goes back to records again, and why record keeping is super, super important. You'll start to see improvement and progress, and it'll make it infinitely easier when you're making your decisions on who to call and who to keep.
Sure. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and do a quick giveaway. Let me hide that one. If you didn't already get your hashtag in, it's hashtag hatching time, all lowercase, all one word. We're going to go ahead and see how many people. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. I got to share the screen here. It's funny. As many times as I've done this, you'd think I'd know the routine, but I still goof it up. Okay, there we go. Let's see how many comments we have. Looks like we have 27 entries. And let's pick a winner. Todd Jacobson. All right, Todd, you are our winner. And as soon as I get back to the other screen, Todd, send me your information, shipping information to Terry at CoturnixCorner.com. It's on the screen right now. And I will forward that over to Hatching Time, and they will email you a gift certificate. So make sure that you give me a good email address. All right, very cool. Congratulations there, Todd. We had one guy won. What am I doing here? Okay, remove that. Good. We had one guy win both the giveaway, the $50 gift certificate, and the hatching eggs in 1 week. Which is
lucky guy.
Everybody told him to go out and play the lottery.
Right?
What are the odds? All right, guys, if you want to put in your Gopher Ridge for the hatching eggs, it's a hashtag Gopher Ridge, all lowercase, all one word. And towards the end of the show, we'll go ahead and draw for that. While we're waiting on that, we'll go ahead and pull up some more questions here. Homestead Matters says, question, Miss Bree, can you give a quick overview of Cardon and Quail? I don't even know what Cardon is.
So I haven't actually, I should preface this with I've never actually worked with the gene in the recent years. When I had what I believe is the gene, it was way back before we even knew it was a separate gene. And I only worked with it 2 or 3 generations, and then I went off to college and sold all of my birds. I've sold my birds. I've since gotten back into them, but I haven't worked with it since. And so basically for a really long time, people had talked about there being this chocolate pansy, EB pansy, chocolate Manchurian. There's a whole bunch of rumors floating around about this new kind of darker gene. And this is, again, before we had a really good understanding of how some of the different genes interacted, and we hadn't had a lot of these genes separated or a lot of people working on them in public hands. And then there was kind of like this put on hold. We were like, yep, okay, we know where pansy is. We've bred it. We know what it looks like. And then if anyone knows, like there's a whole big thing about my Shire selling sparkly that actually looked like it was pansy, or pansy is sparkly, somewhere in there. And it was a really big controversy for a long time until I want to say it was about 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half, probably closer to a year and a half, a year ago. there were some breeders that bought some birds from him, and they started test breeding it to Pharaoh to see what it actually was, and they found out that it was a new gene. And we think it's been in the United States for quite some time. It's definitely not necessarily like, it wasn't just spontaneously created in the last year. It's just the first time it's really been isolated. And for the longest time, they called it American pansy. So you'll hear that term thrown out. And then they were going, it was Rebecca Lynch was working on it with Leah Kulas, Jen Jordan. There may be a handful of other people in there that were also doing quite a bit of work in the background. But basically, they were going back and forth on, do we call it? We haven't fully isolated it. We know this is a new gene, but we don't fully know what it does. And so they eventually switched the name to Cardon. And I believe Rebecca is planning on releasing Cardon sometime soon in one of her collections. I could be completely wrong in that, so don't quote me there. But basically, they're saying American pansy is Cardon with a specific, like with fawn. So if I've got those two right. And so it's a very specific expression of Cardon. So you'll still hear American pansy being put out there quite a bit. That's pretty common. But it's completely separate from regular pansy. It's on the same, we're pretty sure it's on the same locus. So that explains why when you breed it with sparkly or you breed it with pansy, you get this very interesting, in my opinion, gorgeous birds. That just kind of, and it explains why we had this really big confusion of, is this pansy? Is it sparkly? Well, something new. And it was all mixed in there together. So
how is my Shire selling it, or aren't they?
This was a long time. This was probably a year or 2 years ago. I know they were selling it, I think, as sparkly or as one of the two. And then I'm not 100% sure if they switched it. I know at one point they were talking about switching it to like a mix. So that might be, I think they have like a Cosmos mix now. I'm not 100% sure if that's what it is. I haven't looked into either one of them a whole lot. But I know that I believe they're still selling it. So and it'll be that mixed with sparkly or with pansy. So you'll get all the pretty colors out.
Okay. Learned something new today. Let's see. Papa says, where can we get the Poultry app?
Yeah.
Poultry Pro app.
It's online. So anyone can go. It's there's a link for it. It's like Poultry Pro, pipsandchicks.replit.app. And if you Google Poultry Pro or you look at my Facebook page, it comes up on there. Yeah, but it's available. It's just not on, it's available online and anyone can access it. It's just not on like the App Store or Google.
Gotcha. Here's a good question for people that are just getting into shipping. Bruce's question: when do the temps for the southern breeders start lowering to safer temps for shipping hatching eggs?
Ooh, so here's the thing. I'm up north and I'm in Wisconsin. So we get like 1 or 2 days in the hundreds. Temperatures will be warm. We call it warm when it's in the 90s. So I'm not full. I know when we stop shipping because of the cold, and that'll actually be coming up probably within the next couple of months here. But I would say if you're shipping anything where it could really be over like 85 degrees, it probably wouldn't be worth it. Because if you think about how they're shipping these eggs, they're going through distribution centers, but there's a good chance that it'll be sitting in a hot car at some point, or a car at some point, and it'll be sitting in these shipping centers. And most of them are going to be cooled, but you're not guaranteed that it's always going to be cooled. And you're putting them in a box with insulation in it. So you're going to keep heat in, especially if you sent it in the heat, as well as you're going to see your own fertility rates drop. So as soon as your birds get heat stressed, your fertility is going to go down whether you want it to or not, unless you've got temperature controlled rooms. So a lot of these breeders have stopped shipping in July and August, and then they'll probably pick up I would say within the next month or so for their little fall push before winter. If you want more on it, like the shipping queen is Jennifer Bryant from Bryant's Roost. She would be the best person to ask. She's got a shipping course that she talks about all of these things, and she's on the more of like the manufacturing side of things for and distribution side for the foam shippers that you see. So she knows her stuff, and she would be able to answer this a little bit better.
I don't think Jennifer even slows down in the heat. She ships all the time. And if you think about it, the only recommendation I would say is if you're going to ship in the hot weather, make sure the person is picking up their eggs at the post office instead of putting it in a hot truck. I've got eggs from several southern shippers in 100-degree temps, and they were just fine.
Yeah, and
my mailman knows not to put my eggs in the truck, and if he does, he brings them right to my house first. So I agree with you. Jennifer does know when it comes to shipping. She knows what she's doing. HP is the same way. HP will get your eggs to you. All right. Costello Hobby Farm says, we put 2 young rabbits in with our quail, and they're doing awesome together. I haven't seen the birds try any rabbit food, but I do see the rabbits go eat some quail feed sometimes. There you go.
Interesting. We've got on the lab farm, my roommate just got into rabbit farming. So she's got a small little, I don't know if it's a herd of rabbits, a flock of rabbits, Covey. She's got like, I think 10 rabbits now. Off the back porch of so I live on the lab farm, and we've got rabbits there. She went through the whole 9 yards of like protocol and approval to get these rabbits, and that is, to be honest, the only work that I've ever done with rabbits. I'm not sure if she's got really, really big rabbits, like the big meat birds and the big meat rabbits. So I don't know if I'd put them with my quail, but I don't think my IACOOK committee would approve of that.
I never tried that. Let's see. Chantel says, Bree, how do we get the app? Is it from the Facebook group?
We do have a Facebook group for it, so people ask questions in there. I post about like updates. So usually at this point, about once a week to every 2 weeks, I push out some sort of update. Sometimes it's a new feature. I just recently did a feature where if you put in, you can go in and put like the sire of your bird and the dam of your bird. So like the cock and the hen, if you know which ones they came from, or even just the rooster, and it'll backdate it and it'll put a whole pedigree for you. And you can follow, like you can also put in genetic traits in there and it'll follow that in the pedigree. So you can see like your inbreeding coefficient. If you're inbreeding at all, it'll tell you like the heredity of these traits, if they're getting passed on. So I announced that in the Facebook group and people got to see that. So that it's like just called Poultry Management on Facebook, but you can just go onto it on the web. It's posted on there, so you can see the link in there. And otherwise you can just Google it or type it in.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. Matilda says, good morning from Philly. Glad you can join us. Sean Bell says, I've been missing in action, but Mr. Terry, do you still host the show in Tampa? I don't think I've ever hosted a show in Tampa.
Florida's a hard one. Leah Koulis is trying. The bigger show there, Norma Paget runs with her husband. She's the president of the APA, and they get to be there. The APA itself is very, very strict about letting new birds in because they see a lot of fads come and go, and they don't want to promote fads. They want to promote long breeders that are in it and that are actually excited about it for being excited about it. And so she was trying with Norma Paget to get it into their big show there, and I don't think they did. But I do think they were able to get it Quail into one show in Florida, or they were at least like seriously considering it. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so.
Yeah, up in Tampa, that makes sense with Leah again, that because I think she's right around the Tampa area. All right, got a whole bunch of hatching time. Brian Allen's in the house this morning from Alabama. Rory Strobel says, "What's up, everyone? Got service at the cabin to check in." That's right, Maury's up in the woods this weekend, enjoying life away from the city. Got a whole bunch of congratulations going up to Todd. Looks like we got quite a few in there for Gopher Ridge already. I don't know. Oh, that's just somebody else. Wow, there's Andy Rabbit. I was wondering if you were going to be checking in, Andy Rabbit. Glad you could join us. Andy is one of our judges for the kids program. And Andy, in case you missed it, there's my email address. We're going to have the kids send their entries for now to my email. And what I'll do is I'll probably post them somewhere so the judges can go in and review them. But that's where we stand right now. Hopefully we'll have enough entries, or at least one entry, to get somebody selected for September. Promised Land Homestead says we also have decided that quail and guinea fowl are the way to go.
Guinea fowl are an interesting one.
I had an opportunity to get some guinea fowl from a buddy of mine, and he actually talked me out of it. He said, "You really don't need them in town."
They're very cool birds. I love the look of them, but they're just wild.
Right. That's what he was telling me. He said they're not. He said they're more of a farm animal than a city animal.
Oh yeah, they're very, very loud. Like, they're the best guard animal you're probably gonna have. And there's a 50-50 shot that they'll just go away, and they won't. Like, they roam, and then if they come back or not, they come back.
We do have a lot of in my neighborhood is peacocks.
Really?
Yeah, like when I had hens, this was a few years ago, I had hens out back, and I guess the peacocks were just lone males, but they would actually fly up on my roof and be right over the chicken pen looking down like they wanted to check out the chickens. I'll send you some pictures. I got a bunch of pictures of them up on my roof and on my neighbor's roof.
Yeah,
cool.
That is very neat.
Jessica says some of the breeders send the eggs with cool packs, which seem to help. I would have to agree with that.
Cool packs are hard. They're from an engineering standpoint. Like, I think they finally figured out ones that'll work, but obviously they can only stay cold for so long. And the trick is you can't just put an ice pack in there, because the ice pack will freeze the eggs. So you've got this balance of, you want it to be in this perfect zone of not too hot, not too cold, and last for the entire 2 days that you're shipping it. So.
All right, Andy Rabbit says, I've seen a rabbit kill a wild bird that got in his cage before. Wow.
That sounds like a vicious rabbit.
I was going to say, that's a mean rabbit. Kara says, one of the kids' entries due again. They're actually not due. I mean, if you want to get them in time for September, I would have them in at least with a couple days left at the end of the month, so I can get them over to our judges. But we hang on to the entries, and they just roll over to the next month. So your kids stand a pretty good chance of winning eventually, because we don't expire the entries. We just keep rolling them over. Andrew Rabbit says, yeah, I know. Sorry, my back is hurting and I overslept on late off with my head. Yeah. That's Andy for you. Jessica says guineas are not city friendly, LOL, but great for ticks. Cool. They'd probably end up eating all my bees. I have some Brahma hens out back, and they're real interested in my bees.
Really? Huh.
Oh yeah.
When we never did like big bees. We only had 2 hives. But they were pretty far from where our chickens were. But our chickens would go back there every once in a while, and we never had issues. But we didn't have a lot of bees.
They don't really mess with the. They don't mess with the hives themselves, but they will pick up bees that are on the ground dead. You know, if the bee died,
okay.
so they'll pick them up and eat them.
Probably good protein for them.
Oh yeah, spicy protein. Jessica says you get guineas in the city, you won't have any friends. There I go. Now I know how to get rid of my neighbors. Oh, Jessica says, no, we have bees and guineas and they don't bother ours. Cool. That's good to know. All right, guys. Let's see what we got for Gopher Ridge. Yeah, we got a few Gopher Ridge entries. If you want to get in the drawing for the Gopher Ridge, it's a 30 count of variety hatching eggs. The way to enter that is type in hashtag Gopher Ridge, all lowercase and all one word, and we'll go ahead and do the drawing for that. Andy Rabbit says it's 8 a.m. here when you start the live. Yeah, I guess that could be a little early. I don't know. I wait. My dog, where is she at? Okay, there she is. She wakes me up early every morning, like 4 a.m. every morning.
Aww.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do a giveaway. And then we'll see if we have any more questions, and we'll close it up for the day. Okay, there's our last winner. Let me go back a screen. Hashtag GOPHER. Gopher Ridge. Let's see how many we got. All right, it looks like we got 25 entries for that. Let's go see who the lucky winner is of the hatching eggs. If Todd wins again, somebody's got to play the lottery on these things. Are you kidding me? Todd. Well, that's the second time that's happened. Unbelievable. Todd, you know the routine. Send me your information and wow. Play the lottery today, Todd, because it seems to be
right.
Today.
Get some scratch off tickets.
That doesn't happen very often. Like I say, it's only happened once before, and it surprised me. So, wow, twice. All right, Todd, congratulations. You got some hatching eggs coming and a $50 gift certificate. Bruce says, Andy, stop whining. It's 6 a.m. here. Data Farm says, I hope to add guinea fowl next year. I'm planning to build an enclosure for them to roost in overnight and free range them during the day. Cool. Also 6 a.m. here too. I never get up this early on Sundays except for this. Wow, I feel good if people are waking up that early just to watch a live stream. Jessica says, wow, it's your day, Todd. Yes, so. Homestead Matter says, double congrats.
I did the math, guys. It's like, his odds of that were like 1 in 1,000.
Yeah. It's crazy. And Holly George says, congratulations to Todd. Todd says, I'm beginning to feel like a prize hug. This is the second time I've won both drawings. Oh, Todd was our winner the last time, too. There you go. What are the odds of that, Bree, of doing it twice?
Oh, gosh.
That is crazy. Well, congratulations, Todd. You're lucky. Ryan Edwards says, congratulations. All right, that brings us down to the bottom of the list, and it is going on 10 o'clock. And I got to go out. I think I'm going to do some work on my air conditioner, flush it out a little bit, see if I can get it to blow a little bit colder. It doesn't
No.
seem like it's blowing that cold. So, Bree, I want to thank you very much for making time today to join us. You're welcome here anytime. You know that.
Yeah, thank you.
CWH number one says, I think it's rigged. I hear you. So Matter says, thanks, Terry and Bree. So, guys, I want to thank you guys for joining us today. I really enjoyed it. Again, thank you, Bree. Congratulations, Todd. And remember, if you have kids that want to get into the kids program, have them send their entries to me, Terry at CoturnixCorner.com. So everyone have a great, I don't know if I can do 6 a.m. Glad I left California. Everyone have a great weekend, great week, and we will see you next week. Again, thank you very much, Bree. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye.